You're in the mix.
SKM presents Strictly for the Music Podcast. You are now live with the #1 podcast for all upcoming artists worldwide.
It's the real
deal. Welcome back, Mr. Jai Gunz. Yeah, man. So here we are, man. Once again, man. Man, I'm gonna start off where we left off, man. Mr. Jai Gunz, 220 monthly listeners on Spotify, man. I mean, man, if your work doesn't show on BandLab, your work is showing on your Spotify, man. Let us know, how did you gain these followers? Because some of your songs, man, you got over 100,000 listens, bro.
Yeah, what it is really with me on some of these tracks, like a lot of these tracks, like I just really just with the bulk of them all, a lot of people listen to the mixtapes when they first drop.
Yeah.
So when the mixtape first dropped, I had the support of the artists that were on those mixtapes, supporting by sharing the links and putting it out there to people, just to give like validation to the whole situation. Because to be honest with you, people weren't really paying attention to me either at one point, and I still do this every day. Still, I don't share my Spotify link as much as I used to, but you know what I mean. I still have, people that I connect with on social media, and we still, I still traffic my music and links to my music out and stuff. Majority of the time, it's on a smaller scale than it would be when I was doing it in the beginning. When I first started pushing the music out on those streaming platforms. So yeah, like the 100,000 listeners, I appreciate all of it. You know what I mean? But it's mainly due to the various artists that were on the mixtapes that they listened to them. So like, I appreciated it, you know what I mean, to kind of like get the notoriety a little bit, just to get the name there, so people notice the name. But in the bulk of it all, I really am trying to like solidify it so that people have to just when they look at my face, when they look at my profile or my profile setting on these streaming platforms, they see me,
Yeah.
So that was the main focus now, and it's been pretty decent. I've been slowly but surely collecting people. Folks follow me. When we do the New Wave Music Wednesdays, a lot of times I tell people, you know what I mean, you can send me your Spotify links. I listen to your music there too, and we usually play it on the live. But sometimes when I get a large crowd, it's kind of hard to do that because sometimes they, the Instagram, for example, will kind of flag your shit.
Yeah, your Instagram's gonna blow up, your DM's gonna blow up. You got all these artists coming in and tuning in with you, man. So Let me say this, man. All right, so you got a like we were just talking about Peazy show, man. Is all that content off your Instagram going to be uploaded on YouTube?
Yes. I actually am starting to screen record a lot of those viewings from the Instagram lives onto the YouTube channel. Some of them I've been having a little bit of a tissue with, like as of lately, like the longer videos that I've posted, like the ones that are like 2 and 3 hours. They really don't want those up there for some reason. I keep trying to post them. It don't want to go through. That's as of lately though, because I mean it just really started like around closer like to the end of this month, because I tried to post one of my last live streams, which was very, very dope one. I was on there for like 2-3 hours, almost 4 hours. I tried to post the one from New Year's Eve, and no go. It wouldn't let me do it at all. So I was like, whoa, what's wrong with this? It won't let me do it. I'm like, you know what I'm saying? So it just, I don't know. I just take it in stride, and then I'm trying to stick to a more like segregated time frame. So like an hour to an hour and a half, maybe even 2 hours at the tops for the show's time frame, so that it'll at least let me load it. And if not, I'll do main highlights of the episodes that were posted on my page, and then give people more details after a while, because I'm going to start editing the actual descriptions for these links that are for these YouTube videos that are up already on the channel and stuff. So That's it. I trying to set up a whole separate page or channel for for the Peazy show on YouTube.
Yeah, man. All right, man. So the Peazy show Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern, right?
Yes, 7
All
p.m.
right,
Eastern.
man. Dope. All right, man. So different faces of the game, man. Did we already go over this in part 1?
Yeah. Oh, actually, no. We had stopped at FB's HOT with
Yeah. Okay.
different faces of the game, man. It was the very first release of my solo. It was pretty much like a solo album to me, because majority of the tracks on there were just tracks that I recorded and set aside specifically for this particular release. It gave you a rough cut of like some of my early works, because that release was 2 years ago, but the release for those songs came when I was shopping them out in the mixtape. So a lot of the folks heard those songs prior to that a few years back, but at the end of the day, when I released it onto the streaming platform, it kind of collected a brand new form of listeners that didn't hear that and hadn't been in the area that I live in now, you know what I mean, so that they can hear it. And I felt like it was a great idea. It was a way for me to flush out those songs and get them out there for people to hear it. You know, I had a lot of fun creating those songs back in that time, and I really felt like people would connect with that. You know, it was a perfect idea to get people, started on it, and just keep shopping it out to people to let them know, yo, listen, I'm just getting started here, and I'm going to let people hear something. So hopefully you guys appreciate the roughness of it, even though it's not as, professionally performed as it should be, but I'm working on trying to perfect that and get it right, So by the next album, everything would be, up to par,
Yes, absolutely, man. So give us the inside dip, the history with the collaboration with Text Trust.
Oh man. Yeah, like, okay, Text Trust, man, we that was the kid that I used to, produce. I used to do music with back in 2010, 2009, and we got together on a humbug. I was homeless. I was running around out in Saratoga Springs, New York, and trying to find, just a place to lay my head down and kind of figure out shit from there. And me and him kind of connected on that level. I met up with him, and just so happened to he, accepted to let me come crash on his couch. And then I seen that he was a big gamer. So he had this desktop with a high speed modem. He had like a dual fucking external drives and shit. I'm like, dude, what are you doing with this besides playing Call of Duty all day? So he's like, you know what I mean? Yo, just, I'm saying, I'm a gamer, but I also be spitting a little bit on the low. You know what I'm saying? It's not my dig, but, it's not my, my fame, my claim to fame. But I mean, it's just something I like to do on the side. So I convinced him to, install the FL Studios program onto his computer. And that's when we started working on music, which was pretty cool, because in the beginning, I was saying in the beginning, it was just bang, 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 repeatedly running out with songs every day. We had at least 3 to 5 songs, completed, where we were just busting them down. And as long as I would come to him like, yo, I got a new beat I just did. What you want to do with this? And I'd play it for him, or, we would go to the as far as transferring my files, exporting the patterns and the links to the link to the FL Studio pattern that I created that beat to, and transfer them to his computer to critique certain sounds, add certain stuff, because he had a very good ear for editorial. So he was tweaking the edits, he was tweaking the sounds, making the volumes for the vocals over the beat sound a lot more professionally made. It was just a beautiful thing at first, and we were just working. And he was like, well, what are we going to do? We got about 20 to 40 songs now. And no way of, and we're not doing nothing with them. So what we gonna do with them? I said, man, don't worry about it. You know, I got an idea. You know what I'm saying? So what I started doing was, um, and don't judge me for this, but I would go to like CVS, and you know, CVS has like little section in the aisles where they sell blank CDs.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't buying them shits, but I had a fucking stacks. I had stacks of them shits. I would just fucking go into CVS at like 2-3 o'clock in the morning and fucking walk out with them shits. So I would come back to his spot and we for like hours sit there burning fucking CDs. We burnt probably about 50 to 100 CDs for the mixtape that we were pushing out, and then we just we had little mini sleeves, little plastic sleeves and shit. We would put them in and just either hand them out or sell them to people like $5 at a time. You know what I mean? Just to try to get people interested in wanting to hear it and get the word out, get the exposure out there for the music. You know, and it was going pretty, you know, it was going pretty good for a while. You know what I mean? And then, like I said, he kind of got into sort of a thing after I started dating my girl who I'm with now, and he kind of got a little, I guess he got in his feelings, you know, because it was weird because he even had done a track with one of my other artists who works with me in my group Twin Gats, you know what I mean? My boy, shout out to Cyrus, you know what I mean? He did a track with him because I had been telling him like, yo, bro, like my boys, man, my team, my Twin Gat team, man, we got shit for you, bro. We can always keep you busy if you want to just be producing beats and recording, engineering and shit. There's always a way we can make money off of this, especially with you having this program on your computer and being able to do the things you can do with it. We could start charging people, but at the time he wasn't really into it like that. So like I said, it was very much an off and on thing. So he was, you know, he would record with us. He would have fun with us. Most of the time he would be a little bit in his feelings because he wanted to sit down, maybe, you know, smoke a blunt or, you know what I mean? You know, sit back and, what do you say? Like freaking play Call of Duty and maybe, you know, squeeze some cheeks type of shit. So he really wasn't, you know, as interested and as involved and invested in it as I was. So
yeah,
like
because
it was like when other people started coming around for it, it became a bigger deal for him that he was less interested. You know what I mean? Like when I say less, I mean extremely less interested. There were times where people would come over and want to record, but they didn't have the money to record. So he would still let them record, but he'd be a little crabby about it afterwards. And I was, you know, and then it got to a point where, you know, things started turning up wrong and folks started doing him wrong. And I wasn't around when all of this stuff was going on because I was, like I said, I was with my girl. We were getting heavily involved. And, you know, sometimes every other weekend I would be out there with her, you know, and I would just hang out with her for like, you know, maybe the weekend or just maybe a few days, you know what I mean, extra out of that after that weekend was up. But for the most part, I was there for him, and I told him, I said, bro, if they not paying you, don't do it. That's simple. You ain't gotta be copping out to these cats. But he would get, you know, oh, you know, they was looking out for me and they was doing this for me and nah. And then, you know, he would tell them about some of his other side work that he was doing, not to put his business out there because it's a lot of stuff that he was doing that wasn't legal. But at the end of the day, you know what I mean? I was telling him, I was like, yo, man, you ain't gotta rock with these cats, man. These folks ain't gonna add to your life if they not putting anything in your pocket, bro. It just is what it is, you know? And he, you know, after a while, you know, he kind of got into that feel of it. And then, but before that, he said, nah, I can't do this no more. It was probably about a good 4-5 months in. And he was just fed up by that time. You know, springtime had kicked in. We had got through the winter and he just didn't want to do it anymore. So I was like, all right, man, I feel you, bro. It's a lot of pressure, and it does take a lot of time. It does take patience and time to get this stuff right and get it out there to people so that when they hear it, they appreciate it and they want to
Yeah.
come back and get it. You know what I'm saying? But he just wasn't ready for all that. So
Yeah,
yeah,
because it
shout out to
started. It's
my man want to kick his ass.
yo,
Like, my
bro.
man still want to beat his ass.
Yo, bro, it's all good to have fun and enjoy the time of making music, but when it starts turning into a job, then that's when you start seeing the inside depth of all the detailed work that you have to be critique on. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, absolutely.
So, with that being said, man, let's get into a couple of these songs, man. I'm gonna name some. You tell me and elaborate on the song, all right? So, just kicking it, Mr. Jai Gunz featuring Freedom and Daywalker.
Yeah, that was a dope production. Okay, Daywalker, that's my dude Daniel Walker, and Freedom, which was my homeboy Marcus. He's cool. These two cool cats. You know what I'm saying? Marcus was my dude Freedom, who was singing, and he was kind of my backup singer in that song. So like initially, and again, the song is to me like just meeting. It's like a song of introduction when you meet a girl. You want her to feel comforted. You want her to feel like she can just kick it with you. You know what I'm saying? So um I basically was like, expressing the fact that I was interested in a girl, and it's my way of saying I'm interested in you. Yo, let's talk, let's kick back, let's chill. I know you've been hearing a lot of crazy shit about me, but it is you know what I mean? Don't believe everything you hear, you know what I mean? Unless you see it in reality, then it's not true, and I'm just one person who's trying to be everything I can be for you, you know what I'm saying? And that was kind of the premise of the song. When I first created it, I wanted it to be something that we could bump on the radio. When I produced the beat, because at that time, that was when I was producing beats. That beat, I wish I still had that beat because I would rewrite that entire song. Like it just really had a lot of substance to it, and my boy Daniel came through with the verse at the end, so it was a pretty dope setup, and we were all just in love with it at one point because of how it all turned out.
Hell yeah, man. Spotify, don't forget Mr. Jai Gunz. You already know, man. Representing Jai Gunz, Brave the Monster, Text Trust DB.
Yeah, yo, that's my dog right there, Brave, man. Shout out to Brave from NYC. It's one of my hardcore homies from who spit hard. Like he was one of the artists that I met when I first got out when I was out there in Saratoga, and like his versatility on the verse just reminded me of like that 90s hip hop flavor that, when you hear it, it's like, yo, you gotta put this dude on something. I don't care what it is. Like he hits you with the metaphors, punchlines that really just rock your bells. And when I produced that track, I produced the beat behind that track as well. And my guy, the first artist on the track, was actually partners from Fort Lauderdale, or not Fort Lauderdale. What was his name? Where is he from? Damn, he's from Florida though. But my dude, he actually was up here, and he was, working with my guy Brave at the time. I always remember, I always forget his name as an artist, man. But he's a cool cat too. He had some bars too when he first came into the track. He put his joint down. He was ready to go when he first came in. It was amazing. And then I had everybody else drop their verses first, and then I put mine in the middle, like, you know what I mean? And reason why I did that is because I had nothing written. So fun fact on that song, that verse that I spit on that track is freestyle. I freestyled that whole verse. I freestyled that verse. So, you know what I mean? Like, and just as a wavelength to it, it's like, you know what I mean? The whole portion of the song was a premise behind everybody just representing where they from, telling people what's going what it do out there in the area, and just what to look out for, what you will see. So with Tex Trust, he was from Seattle. You know, the first artist, he was from Florida, and then my boy Brave from the city, from New York City. So like he was representing for the entire part. He was representing at least 3 out of the 5 boroughs and shit, Staten Island, Brooklyn, and just throwing it up for the rest of the team out there in the city. So it was a beautiful thing, man, when that song came together.
Hell yeah, man. Blow Your Mind.
Yeah, Blow Your Mind. Another rendition. Like I said, I put that song together and I was looking to, make that song another, a potential song that I could actually edit up after a while and throw it on the radio. Just wanted to see how much traffic it would attract at first, because the song definitely speaks about, listen, if you know what I mean, shorty, you come this the way, you try to get with this dude right here, I'm gonna blow your mind. I got some things that'll put you know what I'm saying? Like that was a song strictly for the ladies, you know what I mean? So
yeah.
I did that in rendition of it. So like I love doing it. I had so much fun creating this song. It was a beautiful thing, absolutely beautiful thing.
Yeah, man, dope, man. All right, man. So next song, track 16, Keep Talking, featuring Tex Trust and A0.
My boy Azo, man. Shout out to the homie, man. Azo, yeah, that's the big, that's the homie. You know what I mean? He's from out here where I'm from in Albany. But when we met up, we linked up right out there in Saratoga, and the kid had bars. The kid had bars, man. I can't even stunt. Like one day, we were doing this track. Me and Tex Trust had actually produced that track. The beat behind that track. I did the hard productions for it to get it started, and then me and Tex got together, linking up, and just added a couple of things in it. As we switched it over to his computer to kind of tweak it up real nice and cool, right? Real nice and cool. So like, Keep Talking was just a song. It was like, yo, it's like a warning. You know what I mean? Like, and then Azo, when he came in, which was crazy because me and Tex had our tracks already written down and put down on the song. Azo came through that day, later on that day, and he was like, yo, I'm a little tip, let's spit some bars. And I'm like, all right, cool. Hop in the studio, hop in the booth and spit some shit to this track. He heard it and he was like, yeah, I got you. He freestyled that. So it was like, we was, like I said, it was a lot of times we were just going in having fun, and these songs came from us having fun.
Yeah. All right, Mr. Jai Gunz, we right here. It's 2022. Last year, 2021, Mind of My Own has dropped. Man, right. This is a title, man. It's getting deep side in your mind, dog. And yeah. I don't know what to expect, man. So by the first song, Round My Way, man. Elaborate.
Yeah, like it was the introductory of the album, and Around My Way is like, just the opening track for everybody to kind of like get their hands wrapped around what's gonna be taking place throughout this album. Because I tell people a lot of times when they meet me in person or they talk to me on live and shit, a lot of folks know that I'm not just a rapper. I don't just rap, I sing too. So
you sing too?
Right. So like with a lot of people that don't know that, it's kind of an eye opener for them. So like with that track, it kind of was like a wave of how to expressively get that out there to them. So when they heard that, there's a lot of people that listened to it and they were like, oh, okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, he on a mission and bro trying to get it. You know what I'm saying? And this was the album that I had actually produced this album. Majority of the songs that were made for this album were produced on BandLab. So they were all pretty much recorded on BandLab. Just, minus maybe 2 or 3 songs that I had actually went to the studio and recorded, here in Albany, New York, at Highland Studios. Yeah, it was like I said, it was just me giving people the inside scoop on who I am, along with, some pretty fun tracks to listen to. Um, I can't even say which track to me was my favorite, but I do have a few songs that I still play on repeat.
Hell yeah,
Quite a few.
man. That's dope, man. So, man, round my way. That's a breaking glass door of the album, man.
Right.
I don't like fast rap, man.
I don't like fast rap, man. Okay, so a lot of people don't know this, but the song has a metaphor that it means something. Okay, so when I first recorded this song, the reason why I even brought it to that light and I called it I Don't Like Fast Rap is if you listen to a lot of the trap rappers and the drill beats rappers, they all sound like they trying to rap fast, over tracks. And most of the time it's that what they call it now stick music. I don't like that shit. You know what I'm saying? I've grown out of that realm of rapping, and a lot of these kids is getting themselves hurt behind this shit. So when I started thinking about, that particular song, the real metaphor behind it, if you listen to the introduction of it, it's like, look, every time a new rapper comes out or every time you hear a new rapper, they all sound the same. So to me, I don't like this shit. It's getting weird in the industry, I'm just expressing my feelings towards that.
That's dope, man. All right, man. So, I bring it to existence.
I bite. So, man, listen, that's like a tagline I use. If you notice throughout the entire album, that's one of the main things you hear, aside from when you hear after the introduction of Faces OENT or my name Peazy popping up in the song. I bite is usually the next thing you hear. So I bite, and the title for that song is basically just what it is. I bring it to existence. Is what it means. Is what I bite means. To me anyway. And that's, what I mean. Just so people get the gist of it, because originally, what's funny about it is a lot of people don't even really notice, and I'm pretty much telling things and shit. But me and my girl would be like playing around and shit. How you tussling and playing with your girl in the bed type of shit. And I have a thing about biting. I have, I don't bite very hard, but I nibble, And then I would do some shit like we would have fun with it. I would, do a little nibble and I say, I bite every time I do it. So it was like, It just became a thing and it kind of stuck with me at one point. It was like, yo, I think I should use this, because, we caught a little laugh off of it. It's a personal thing for me and her, but it became more of an opening lineup for me to get myself together. And now when I say it, it's like, I'm about to go in and say some shit on the track. You know what I mean? So
yeah, that's gonna be dope.
Prepared, you know what I'm saying? When I bring it to existence, it's gonna be some shit for your ass to listen. You know what I mean?
Realize everybody born's exposed to lawlessness.
Yeah. Basically it was like an opening song it was not even really an opening song. It was more like a medley that I created, and I was trying to give people a small speck of like information about me, because I had already produced a song prior to that kind of like in my verse that I wrote for it gave a little insight on it and told people about the kind of the life that I had been through. Because there had been a song that I created in one of my first releases, Different Faces of the Game, titled Stairway Out the Game. And it was a story behind that. There was a story in that song. So it was talking about a lot of the problems I was dealing with currently at that time, and just stuff that I had been through in my life. And then realize everybody's born exposed to lawlessness. It's just a reflection of telling people like, listen, we all got battle scars because of how we've had to live in this world and grow up in this world as youth to now. You know what I mean? And whether what age, no matter what age you're in, some of us didn't get to see the extent of their, of what their life could be, but we all have gone through some form of trauma. You know what I mean? And that was just me expressing my format of trauma. Had the things that I've been through, like the fact that my son, who is now 13, about to be 14 in a couple of months, I have not seen him since he was 2. So, we've been separated, due to, issues between him and his mom, that it kind of strengthened me and hardened me to make songs the way I made them. Because a lot of the songs that I made, I wanted him to hear them at some point in his life, to understand that I was still thinking about you even throughout all of this,
Yeah, that's dope, man. Risk My Life.
Oh man. Okay, well that to me, it's a fun track. It's really a fun track. And it just like the chorus alone kind of like reflects on the song itself, and the fact that there's people out here that put themselves in positions due to the lyrical content that they produce. And the way that the chorus is said, it says, y'all cats keep playing, I'm gonna keep it real. I'm saying I ain't out here trying to risk my life. You know what I mean? It's just it's what it is. You know what I mean? Like, and it tells people just basically, listen, man, y'all playing out here talking all this gunplay and, how y'all doing and what y'all doing and shining and shelling, trying to, photo prop gold chains and all kind of stuff in your music videos and all this stuff. Like, you got it. This is actually opening the door for people that like, oh, word, you holding, so I need what you got. You know what I'm saying? And I know this because of this simple fact. I was one of those same people that was on that same thought process. Like, yo, let me catch one of these niggas down bad. I'm gonna have to hit them with something. Yo, I need that bread,
Right.
Because we come from hard times. And I'm not one of those people that want to sit there and, be struggling my whole life. But I do know that, people are out here doing things like that. I grew up in an area where, people would be walking around, fly ass chains, nice ass cars. And then 2 weeks later, them niggas is walking with bunny ears somewhere because they got robbed. You know what I'm saying? Like, trying to find out what the hell happened and who did it. So that's just what it is. Like, to me, I wrote that song to kind of be like a heads up. Listen, bro, there's people out here that's doing shit like this, man. Y'all better be careful,
Yeah. Give it a little warning. Warning. Yo, bro. So, Smoking with No Ceiling, man.
Mm-hmm. Oh, man. Like, okay, with this song, Smoking with No Ceilings. And it's funny you asked me about this song as I light up a cigarette. Yeah. So the song, that song in particular, Smoking with No Ceilings, when I created that song, shout out to Chris OG on the production for that beat. I met this guy on Instagram. I didn't meet him in person, but I followed him because his production beats. So one day he had posted a beat up. It happened to be that beat. And I saved that post and just kept replaying the post. And anytime I get into a method of listening to somebody's production like that, I'm in my head thinking like, yo, what can I do to this song? How can I make this song work on my end, right? And I reached out to him. I said, yo, how much you want for the song? He told me. We discussed the conversation about the profit, about how much he wanted for it. I sent him the little bread for it, and he sent me the track. So upon him sending me the track, I did a live stream a little while after, maybe a day or two after, and we were just talking. And I just posted something, and then what I did was I set up a post where I was singing over it first, and I sent it to him. I said, would you rather me sing to it or would you rather me rap to it? And he said, nah, I want you to spit some bars to that shit, spit some fire to it. I said, all right, say less. So when he said that, I initially said to myself, okay, that's a good idea. But I also want to create a song that is radio ready. You don't have to edit it. All it is just you pop that bitch in the radio player, and the player for your, that distributes broadcast music to the radio stations or to the, listener's ear, because you can go straight to that. And that song literally has no curses. It's one of those songs that I created that if you pulled it off, if you played it now, it would literally be something that's kid friendly. You wouldn't have a whole bunch of pings on your about, mannerisms or mature audiences need, referencing and stuff like that. So a lot of that was the idea behind that. And I had created the hook. Maybe 2 years before I recorded the song, because I had been like just harmonizing, and I was thinking about something. I was like, yo, no ceilings, and we smoking, so we going all the way. And it came out. You know what I mean? That's how it came out. So it was a pretty dope setup.
That's fucking. I gotta tune into that, bro. That's for sure. All right, man. Facts of Life, G Wiz.
Yeah, Facts of Life with my homie G Wiz. Shout out to G Wiz, straight out of Nashville, Tennessee. He moved over to Washington State. But yeah, man, I met G Wiz on Beat of the Week. And when I first heard his verses, man, I was like, yo, I gotta do a song with this kid. So somehow I ended up, hitting him up online in the DMs on Beat of the Week, and we was discussing how we was gonna do it. And I was talking to him about it. By that time, at that time, this was before I had even got introduced to BandLab, so I was still going to the studio. And I had pre-recorded that verse and chorus for the song. You know what I mean? Like, the song itself is, you know what I mean, the facts about shit that I've been through. Everything that's in that song talks about everything that I've been through. From, the first time I ever smoked weed, which is 11. I started smoking weed at 11. I got arrested by 11. You know what I mean? By 13, I had already been to jail already twice or, 2 or 3 times and shit. So, like, it was just, talking about everything that I had been through in my life and trying to give it a little more, of a spin to it. Shout out to PD Bands for the beat though, but my producer out of Ontario or out of Toronto. Yeah, man, like he sent me the track, and when I heard the beat, when I first heard the track, he was playing it on BeatStars. He had it posted on BeatStars. I said, yo, I sent him an email. I was like, yo, bro, I gotta get that beat from you. He said, in order for you to buy the beat off of me, I'll send you gotta buy, a couple of packets. So I bought a couple of his beat packs, and that's how I ended up with the beat. He said he just emailed it to me. Boom. So from there, I took that song and turned it into a personal song about my life and the shit that I had been through up until a certain point, you know what I mean? And just letting people know that, when you're in a situation and, you're going through life, you're going through stresses and traumas in your life, you know what I'm saying? It's okay to tell people you need space. You know what I'm saying? Because in the chorus goes, I need some space. Can I get some space? Give me some space. Can I get some space? I need some space, please. Give me some space. You know what I mean? So, because I wanted people to know, like, when you are talking about your life, and even in a therapy session, when you're having conversations with this person about how, the things that have been bothering you have affected you, or what what you feel like they've done to you, you need people to know, like, sometimes everything is not up for a conversation. You know what I'm saying? So you just need space to get it out there and get the time to, gather your thoughts to put it together and get it together. So, you know what I mean? Like, the way I put it out there to G Wiz when I sent him the track, I said, yo, just talk about your life, bro. Tell me, tell everybody about who you were before this music, before you started rapping, and what led you into the music,
Hell yeah.
And that literally was the premise of the song for me, you know what I mean? Because a lot of people don't realize I went through a lot of crazy shit before I even started being noticed for my music.
Right. All right, man. Still stay here, Ashley Nicole.
Oh man, me and Ashley Nicole, shout out to Ashley Nicole. She came to me. Actually, I came to her, and the song is it was a song I had created around this time when the pandemic was out, and you know the essential workers, the nurses, the firefighters, the police officers were having a lot of stresses. They were going through trauma because of the COVID crisis that was taking over our country and shit. So what I did was I wanted to make a song as a dedication to them, speaking on the facts of, you know, I had heard an article on news that was saying that there was a rescue worker, basically I believe it was a firefighter that was having issues with paying his mortgage because of the COVID crisis had put everything on pause, and his rent wasn't paused. So he owed his mortgage. And he was actually facing eviction. And the song proposed when I heard that, it proposed the question to me that was the reason why I created the song. So when I said in the chorus, when I'm down to my last dimes, would you, I said, when I'm down to my last dimes and I'm left with nothing, would you still be here with me? It was just like it was like I put myself in the shoes of these rescue workers and proposed a question to their mates. If you go through these things and you're going through these stresses due to a crisis taking place in your community or in your country, are you still going to be dedicated to this person? You know, is this something that is going to make you fold and want to find something better and think that there is something better outside of this? Or are you going to stick it out with this person? Because that's the question that it proposed to me. So I went on and just made a song about it. And in that song, I kind of reflected on just a day of a rescue worker on his way to work, basically. You know, even though he knew he had a pink slip sitting on his door saying, look, you owe this money and we're going to have to, you know, evict you after a while if you don't pay it, you know?
Yeah, man. Talking about Chantel.
Oh, that was, shout out to my sister Chantel for that one, yo, because she sent me the track around like 2018, 3-4 years ago, and she was like, yo, I'm trying to get into this music. I really, you know, don't know if I'm gonna be able to do anything if I do make it in there, but you know, she's a shy person. She's very shy when it comes to like doing songs and singing in public. Even though she's been in she was in the military, so it was wild though. But I love the music that she brought to me. That song, she had pretty much just laid it all out, sent it to me, and all she needed me to do was do my part of it. I said, listen, as soon as I get my hands on something to record with, it's a wrap. I got you. And initially, that was the song that was our first collaborative effort together. So it was like I collectively said it was the first song that I created with my sister when I first came back into the music. So, cause for a while, like I said, I had to put the music on pause. I had so many other problems I was dealing with. After that, it was prior to me losing my sight. So I was trying to just develop a sense for the music again. And when she sent me the song, she was like, yo, I want you to put your verse on it and kill that shit. I said, say less. I'm gonna do that. I'm always gonna do that. And, you know, immediately after, I created the verse for it after I was able to access BandLab and get a little, you know, critiquing on how to make it right, how to do my vocals to sound clear and all that stuff. So it was a beautiful thing after it came out. It was like nothing stop me from putting that together and making it what it was. I love that song. Like, it's one of my favorite songs. Like, my mom even likes that song, and that's a rarity with her. She really is like very picky about certain music that she listens to, especially with me. She's good at telling me what she does like and what she doesn't like about the song. So like, I give my songs to her first. Usually she's like one of the first people to listen to my songs before they get published or released out to the public. So when she told me that's a song, that's a good song, and I was like, okay, that's great. That's all I need to know, because then that's enough for me, and I released it, I just let it go. Like, and right now I'm actually working on a remix verse for it, because I had that verse that I wrote for it, but then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give it a little better. I'm gonna give it a better take on it. You know what I mean? Let people really know why they talking about what they talking about. You know what I mean?
What song inspired you the most?
Ooh, if I had to make a choice on that one, the song I think that inspired me the most was probably Facts of Life, really, because it made me dig deep and talk about things that I wasn't really, expressing out to people. So like, I would have a conversation with people and tell people about my life, but a lot of people didn't know that I started, I got arrested for the very first time in my life at 11 years old. They didn't know that, I also started smoking weed at around the same time, at 11 years old. Um, and most people that grew up with me knew, but a lot of people don't know that, like, I was being, I went through a lot of the, childhood situations where kids in my school was picking on me and stuff like that. So like, I expressed a lot of these details of myself in that song. And to be honest, I think it was one of my more vulnerable tracks, to be honest. That's, I think, the reason why it sticks out to me and it sticks with me, because I still to this day listen to that song.
Yeah, man, that's dope. All right, man. So let me ask you this, man. I know you're called the Blind MC, but I gotta ask this because I asked all my guests this question, man. Music videos. Is there anything that the audience can expect, maybe in the future?
I'm working on it. I just,
All right.
like, right now I got to get my budget right, and that's probably the biggest hold up for the reason why you guys haven't seen music videos yet.
Yeah.
But hey, it's coming. Just give me
That's
some
dope.
time. Let me get the money together and everything, because it's not cheap to do these things. Not
So
to mention, it'd be easier if I actually had somebody that was just like, taking the time with me, and go around with even just a cell phone and make it happen. Because I know how to do a little bit of the editorial work that I, to put it together. I just actually, do that. I do a little bit of that editorial stuff on my phone now. You know what I mean? Because of the fact that with the show, I have to broadcast it. And I have to do all of these things by myself. So I want to make sure that when I do these things, I do it right.
yeah. Yo, bro, let me ask you this, man. Being in New York, man, you have a lot of artists out there that do a lot of things, man. Like
Mm-hmm.
you ever thought about collabing with an artist and then maybe like shooting a couple music videos, and not you doing the work, but you got someone that knows what he's doing.
Yeah, it would be it was an idea that I definitely wanted to look into. It's just I haven't no
Yeah.
artist that I've met yet has reached out. So
Okay.
that's
So
that's kind of the thing. Like, I'll reach out to a lot of different people. I don't have no problem communicating and collaborating as far as
that's dope.
lyrically with music on anyone that wants to collaborate with me. And I say this even on this interview, like, I definitely don't have a problem working with you. I
Yeah.
don't charge for artists. I don't charge for my work that I do. All I ask is that you know what I mean, work with me on what I'm doing. You know.
Absolutely, man. So let me ask you this, man. So before the 2000, was it 16 or 14 incident that caused you to go blind, man, were you doing any open mics? Were you doing any live performances anywhere anyone can catch you at, man?
Wow. My very first time, let me see. Let me put it to you like this. 2005 was the very first and probably the last live performance that I did for anybody. I performed the song "Sorry" actually on at Blackfest here in Albany, New York. This was a while ago. I got to connect through a friend of mine that I met a while back, and I went to the concert, and I did my little stage performance. It was a small crowd. It wasn't a lot of people there, so I just went on, did my thing, and then I left. After that, when I moved up north, when I moved further north to Saratoga, and I would go to Saratoga Springs and shit and be out there, that was when I started doing open mics because they used to have a bar out there by the name of Gaffney's. They still have it. The Gaffney's bar is still there, but they don't do open mics like they used to. So what I would do is I would go to the bar. They'd have open mic nights on Tuesdays. I would go to the bar, do my little open mic, and it was just a way to kill time for me because, like I said, at that time I was doing a little bit of, I was the homeless guy out there. I just walk around just to find places to go. So you catch me in the club or in a bar somewhere, just sitting off in the cut, you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden I realized that they were having this, open mic segment that night. And I was just like, you know what? Let me get up here on the stage and give people a little something, you know what I mean? Just to see if I can attract the crowd or get people to hear what I'm going in on and stuff like that. And I got a reception from a lot of people from there. I just wish that they would have kept it going because after a while they kind of just shut it down.
Favorite collaboration, man?
Wow. Actually, I'm still building on that. So I can't even really say a favorite collaboration right now because there's so many artists that I've worked with just in the recent year or so, you know what I mean, over these last productions that have come up. And then some that I've just finished up over in the, like the last couple of weeks. So I'm still building on that. And if I had to take and give you a collaboration and one that I've finished that's good that I could say is the one that I just recently did and will be coming out soon with DIP and his wife Candy Lady. Like these artists are very inspirational to me, and the reason why I say that is because especially Candy Lady, she actually started rapping when she first showed up on Beat of the Week. This was the very first time she was rap. She had never rapped before. She was a cheerleader instructor. She's a cheerleader instructor. She knew about rhythm and, tempo and stuff like that, but she wasn't a rapper. Her husband was the rapper. You know what I mean? The husband was the rapper, producer, DIP and stuff. So when she came into the music and she started rapping and I was listening to her verses on Beat of the Week, the first thing I said is, yo, I gotta do a song with her. It's literally like the first thing that comes to my mind whenever I hear a song from a verse or a verse from an artist that I really like to hear. The first thing came to my mind is like, yo, I definitely gotta do a song with her. So I came up with the concept, Black Lives Matter, Homicide, Black Lives Matter 2. And when I first thought of it, like I said, I sent the song over to Dip and I sent the beat over to him. I said, yo, bro, this is what we're going to do. We're going to do a song about Black Lives Matter, yo, because I don't think people misinterpret the premise behind why Black people support Black Lives Matter. It's not the actual campaign of the organization. It's the movement behind the organization. That's the reason why a lot of Black people are attracted to Black Lives Matter, because it's a real thing. Black lives should matter. And in order for all lives to matter, Black lives have to matter too. You know what I'm saying? So, I say that to a lot of people because whenever I hear people, whenever I say Black Lives Matter or stuff like that, people say, well, all lives should matter. It's no one should be, over the other. But at the end of the day, if you look at the world around you, especially in the country that we live in, Black lives seem to matter less than anyone else. So I believe, honestly, that's probably the one song that if I had to say collaboratively, yeah, and who I'm most inspired by, yo, I love the way Candy Lady formulated her song, her verse in the song. She is a inspiring artist. Like I said, she hasn't even been at this a year, and she's just literally just climbing the freaking ladder like crazy. Everything she puts her hands on and she blesses the mic with, she's killing it. You
That's
know,
dope.
she's absolutely killing it.
That's dope, man. Hell yeah. All right, man. So if you could collaborate with any artist, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
Wow. I got a few of those, but I would love to work with, personally, I'm an old school artist, so like I'm built in the old school level, so I would love to do tracks with artists like, you know, Pac. Really, Pac was probably the first person in my head to come up with it, because I remember when I was a kid growing up, um, lot of the folks in my neighborhood, you know what I mean, like my brother's friends, you know what I mean, used to all call me Lil Tupac, you know, because I would walk around, you know what I mean, I would walk around the neighborhood, you know what I mean, and had the low brush cut, you know what I'm saying, and everybody was like, yo, look at Lil Tupac over here walking around and this and that and the third. It was kind of like it was a pun at first, but it stuck with me for a minute, because I remember listening. That's all I would do while I was walking around. I would walk around my neighborhood listening to his music, just Pac's music. It really inspired me to be the artist that I am, and like adding that to the other artists that I think about when it comes to inspiration wise and collaborating. I feel like it would be a blessing to be put on the same track with him. You know,
That's dope, man. All right, man. So if you could give any advice to any upcoming artist, what would it be?
don't give up on your dreams. It's never going to be easy. Life isn't easy. So just make sure that whenever you go hard on this music, make sure it's what you want to do first. If you feel like this is something that's going to stick with you for a while, make sure that it's something that you love, so it doesn't feel like work. My dad always told me, um, make sure whatever you're doing is something that you love. And if you love it, it doesn't feel like work. It just feels like something you want to do, and you're enthused to do it. You're inspired to do it. Every day is a new day. It's like a fresh day for you every time you get done, every time you get to it. So for me, I just say never give up on never give up on that dream. If whether you want to be an astronaut, or you want to be, a astrophysicist, or even a freaking, president of the United States, don't give up, because there's always that light at the end of the tunnel. You can do these things if you put your mind to anything. The human body and the mind itself is a fascinating tool, you know.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. All right, man. So what audience you try to reach with your music, man?
Honestly, I want to reach those that are looking for inspiration. I want to reach artists that are, in all demographics of life, that they're sick of listening to the same wartime rhetoric that you're hearing in these songs that you hear on the radio. If you want to listen to something that's, bringing it back to the essence of what hip hop really means to, artists now, and what it should mean to the artists today, um, I'm the type of person that I want to bring that back, because a lot of people tell me that my lyrics remind them of a artist that should have been out in the 90s, in the early 2000s, even, you know what I mean? So for that matter, you know what I mean? I established myself and solidified my lyricism in that format, because I love the fact that, that was my nostalgic moments in my life. The 90s hip hop, when it was out there, it was a lot of violent nature, but then you had artists like Chuck D and Flavor Flav, the Public Enemies of the world, EPMDs of the world, the Rakims of the world. These artists were artists that were really giving you real knowledge, street knowledge. You know what I mean? And that's kind of the information and inspiration that I want to bring to the table, like Nas and Jay-Z, even, you know what I'm saying, at one point or another. You know, they all spoke about really insightful information that gives you, you know, tips and tricks of the trade when you stepping through these dangerous neighborhoods that they grew up in.
That's dope, man. Hell yeah, man. Inspiration, inspiring people. Yeah, man. That's definitely a good source of, you know what I mean, of an audience, man. So let me ask you this, man. Favorite bar in the song, man. Favorite lyrics in the song. Something that just sticks to you in your mind, man.
Oh man. Um, uh, I said, Snoop told me keep my mind on my revenue. I smoke so much green, my blood type gorilla glue.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Hell
was
yeah.
one that stuck out to me. Like it was one that stuck out to me for a long time after I came up with it, because I was just sitting there thinking, I'm like, yo, and then it came out of nowhere because somehow, actually I was sitting in my room, as a matter of fact. It was in the summertime, and I was sitting in the room, and I had been just listening to stuff, and somehow I was trying to find something to come up with. I was trying to find a verse to come up with for Beat of the Week, and a car drove by playing "Rolling Down the Street, Smoking Indo, Sipping on Gin and Juice." I was like,
Yeah.
ooh, way back. My money and my money on my mind. So I took the last thoughts of it. You know what I mean? And then I formulated my own metaphor for it, you know, and it was like, yo, I feel like this is going to work. So I kept working with it, and it stuck with me because it's still one of those verses that it's one of the first verses that comes to mind when I think about something to spit. Somebody says, yo, spit something for me. And one of the first verses I think about is either that one or, what you mean you ain't heard about me? I'm the blind motherfucker with the guns in the back, make a bitch get the back up off me. Tread softly. It won't be. You know what I mean? So like it literally is one of those collective things that I'm like, yo, I don't think people heard that. Like I may need to say that again. I don't think people heard me when I said that. Because I think I went in on those songs. Like, you know, I really felt like those were some of my highlighted songs, you know.
Right, man. Definitely, man. All right, man. So let me ask you this, man. Can the audience, can your fans expect an R&B album?
Ooh, only R&B?
Yeah.
I usually throw a little R&B in my albums, like the Different Faces of the Game and Mind of My Own both came out, and when they both were released, they had R&B songs on it, like Roll With Me, Just Kicking It was the two songs from my original Different Faces of the Game album, and then Mind of My Own had a selection of R&B songs like Not Used to Love and Still Stay Here, and Sorry actually was a part of that album collection. So I do drop stuff like that, but for the most part, only R&B. I have to think about that. That's a good idea though.
All right,
Thank you
man.
for that. I thank you for that suggestion, because that's a really good idea. You know.
Yeah, man, because you said you could sing, man. So I was like, man, you know what I mean? You've done the hip hop thing, and you mix a little bit of R&B with it, but a whole R&B album, man. I don't know, man. Lately, I've been seeing a lot of artists going into R&B, man. So I don't know. It might be the new wave. I don't know, man. But let me ask you this, man. What ways do you market your music to promote it, like promotion-wise? Do you use Facebook? Do you use Instagram? Do you do community posts on YouTube? Like, what is the ways that you find that give you the most views, man? Is it the title and the caption? I don't know.
I think a lot of times it goes with the title and the caption, and I post on social media like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and all these different sites like YouTube and stuff like that as well. So when it comes down to it, those are probably my primary outreaches for, you know, trying to get people to come into the fold. I think I should start using the community tab on freaking my YouTube channel a little more, because I don't use it at all. Honestly, I was unaware. It's a little more on the difficult side for me. It's like I don't really get all of that stuff. I just use it for the baseline of it. viewing videos, listening to the track, uploading my own stuff, sharing it, stuff like that. You know what I mean? The kind of like primary stuff. You might catch me commenting on certain stuff like that too. But other than the obvious, like, I think that's, just the hard line starting point for me where I go for marketing as far as putting my stuff out there. I'm often always seen posting something about my music on Facebook, on my page on Facebook, or on the YouTube channel. You might see a song pop up in my channel. Instagram primarily as of now, like it's like one of my baseline hits where I go for everything. Baseline, I hit up everything with Instagram because a lot of my followers still connect with me on Instagram versus Twitter and Facebook. So
yeah, man, that's dope, man. All right, man. So we're at the end of 2021. What are your goals in 2022?
More music, start working on putting more, effort into trying to budget for videos and match these videos. You know what I mean? Give you guys something to visually pay attention to and envision for these songs that I'm putting to your ears, man, because I want to start pushing something that's going to eventually push me in a level where I'm going to start venturing into like venues, making, booking shows and stuff like that. Cause I want to start getting to that part of it,
That's dope, man. That's
where
dope.
I feel like the real money is at for artists. It's not always in the music and making it and getting it out there on the streaming platforms, because as a lot of people have come to find out, with streaming music on places like Spotify, even, the top artists of that catalog list of top artists is the only one that really gets paid. So all the independent artists that are getting people to subscribe to these channels, these Spotify channels and shit, aren't really getting the notoriety, and they're making pennies on the dollar.
Right, man. All right, man. So let me ask you this, man. What is the best advice in the music you've been given? Like, has anyone reached out that gave you this certain kind of critique or advice to like wider or broaden your music?
Ooh, just keep switching it up. Like, don't ever settle for, a certain thing and stay in that particular lane. Keep trying to stretch your skill level, be versatile. Those are two of the things that I remember hearing, from, people all around me. You know what I mean? They were always saying to me, be versatile, never stay in one lane, always, because you have so many that you can invent yourself in. Being an artist who, is a singer and can, spit bars and shit. Like, it's easy to, convert these things, try to switch yourself up and do other things. Like, so I started working on different things. I'm actually, considering, working on a country project right now.
Oh, like man.
Like, I'm diversing the portfolio as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, man, definitely, man. I check this out, man. Once you drop that country single, man, I want to bring you back on the podcast because that's another topic we got to discuss. But with no further ado, man, how is the Peazy show? How is your music going to evolve from here on out?
Oh man, so with the Peazy show, it's just gonna be more. I'm gonna keep doing more, keep branching out. I'm gonna keep reaching out to artists, because I feel like I've noticed that even as of lately, coming back onto the show and doing pretty much a half week this week with the show, it's just even made it more easier for me to network with people. It's a lot more ways for me to get connected with artists. And that's the way I want people to come to me and be able to reach out to me as far as connecting with me. You know what I mean? Because that show is a way for anyone who is looking to, get their stuff heard, get it out there. You know what I mean? Because for everybody that, pays attention to it, the more people that are invested in it, the better the show becomes. And I want to broaden this show to the point where people know that the Peazy show is going to be here for you to make this entrance. It could be the way for you to be like the unsigned artist that after they came on the Peazy show, they got discovered by this person or this, artist, this producer seen their tracks or seen their song or heard them on the track. And all of a sudden it was boom, they got out there. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like in so many ways with the artists that I know now, even just a little bit of artists that I know now that come through and contribute to the show, these guys are going somewhere eventually. These guys are going to make it. And I feel like that in my soul that they're going to make it because their music is just that much impactful for me, and I don't just say that about everybody. So I listen to a lot of different artists. I listen to a lot of different creators. But when it comes to the people that I vouch for, like the artists that I vouch for, like the DIPs and Candy Ladies and the Intel Agents and, the DZ Marquises and these artists like them, they are artists that really have potential to go grand on a scale, and all they need is somewhere to get that broader attention. And hopefully if nowhere else, they can be discovered, if not by me, by other people that seen them from something that I've done with them.
That's the goal, man. You hit it right on target, man. So let me ask you this, man. Is there anything in the interview that I missed? Any topics? Any subjects you want to discuss?
I think we gave them enough to give them a little flavor for now. To salivate they platters for now. You know what I mean? Because we always got more coming to you. So just like I said, like I was telling you earlier, be prepared. It's coming up this year. We're gonna start working on a lot of stuff. We got more projects coming out. And as far as as early as next month, we're gonna start releasing some new music. So you know what I mean. Like we're just gonna keep building on that and keep bringing you more flavor. And hopefully you guys from here taking the opportunity to follow and subscribe and do all that good stuff. You know what I mean, to keep up with it because it's gonna keep coming. And I don't want you to get left behind.
Absolutely, man. Dope. All right, man. So special shout outs.
Special shout outs. All right, I'm gonna give my special shout out to my mama first, because my mama is my only living parent at this point. My grandma, my girl, these are supportive people to me. My cousin Tam, shout out to my homies, all my folks out there in Atlanta, Georgia, Southeast Atlanta, 4 seasons for life, Zone 3, you did. Shout out to the West Side, Zone 1, Hollywood Road. Shout out to my folks over in motherfucking USNY, upstate, Saratoga, all over in the 518 area code. Definitely showing love and shouting out all the artists that I've worked with, from the ones that I named to the ones that I can't even think of right now, but they've been very influential in keeping me moving in this music movement. It's just so many people that I can push out of my head, but I can't really think of all of them at the same time. But you know what I mean? But it's all love to everybody that knows me. Y'all know what it is, man. It's nothing but love from me to you.
Plug in all your social media outlets. Let them know where they can find you and stream your music.
For sure. Y'all can find me on Spotify, spotify.com/Mr. Jai Gunz. That's MrJaiGunz. Y'all can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/Mr Jai Gunz Official. It's MrJaiGunz Official. Twitter at Mr Jai Gunz, MrJaiGunz. And Instagram, I have about three, but the primary one you want to check in with is at Mr.J.Gunz, Gunz, on all how you spell it. So yeah, I'm pretty much everywhere as far as like that, you know what I mean? But you primarily look for me under that name, Mr. Jai Gunz.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Jai Gunz. This is Strictly for the Music Podcast. Don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to hit that subscribe and share this to your feed. For all future videos, make sure you tap that notification bell right in the corner. You already know.